Hello and welcome to TrishRockTV, interviews with people on purpose, loving life. Tonight's guest is the amazing Jane Marin. Jane is an intuitive mixed media artist and teacher from Bundaberg in Queensland, Australia. She's also a best-selling author, speaker, belly dance and yoga teacher, and self-confessed bohemian. Jane lives on a sugarcane farm with her husband. She has 2 grown children and a brand new grandson. She's a qualified life coach, Reiki Master, past life therapist, and intuitive healer. But these days concentrates on helping people heal through her art and her art workshops. We are going to delve deeply into Jane's amazing story tonight, and it is an absolute pleasure and honor to welcome you to the show, Jane. Hello.
Hi, Trish. Thanks for having me.
Oh, what a pleasure. What a pleasure. So, most people watching will know you for your amazing artwork, and if they haven't seen you before, they can see that artwork right behind you, some of it, and we're going to talk about that. But I just want to start with where it all began for you, because you weren't kind of born doing art, but you had like some real health issues and some real issues as you're going through your teens, and that's kind of led you into what you're doing now. So talk us through a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a kind of complicated story. I did do art as a very young child, and in fact, I won my first art award at the age of 3.
Wow. So you really were born doing art. I love it.
But I think, like a lot of children born into an academic family, it was frowned upon to continue art after school.
Yeah.
So I sort of pushed it under the carpet and really didn't get back into art itself until after I turned 40.
Wow. And it was typical, wasn't it, really, of the times, and it still happens sometimes today, where anything to do with the arts, like, you can't make a living doing that. Go and study something normal.
Yeah, my dad still thinks that way.
That's funny. Oh gosh. So you had a bit of a journey getting back to art, didn't you?
I did, yeah. It was quite a while before I realized the healing power of art. I continued to be creative, but after I left school, I contracted Ross River fever and was bedridden for about 6 months.
Wow.
That sort of turned into chronic fatigue syndrome, depression and anxiety on top of that. And I was also diagnosed with fibromyalgia and arthritis at that time.
Gosh.
This is my early 20s. And I was told that I'd be on medication for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And having grown up with a mum who suffered from depression and was on antidepressants for most of her life, I decided that I wasn't going to go down the same path.
Yeah.
So I started eventually, once I regained some strength and recovered a little bit from my Ross River, I started looking into alternative healing methods.
Okay.
So I started with bark flower essences. I did a diploma in bark flowers, and I became a yoga teacher as well, because I think everything I learned, I end up teaching.
It's normally the way, especially if it makes a big impact in your life. You end up teaching it. And I guess back when you started this journey, these alternative therapies were, probably not frowned on, but just kind of, that won't work kind of attitude. Yeah.
And nobody really knew anything about anything.
Yeah.
It was either, you either take medication or you didn't. That was about it. So
That was it.
I was determined that I was going to get off the medication. So I started with the bark flower essences, and in this journey, I discovered also that I was highly sensitive to foods and chemicals. So discovering this was a big catalyst for me in turning my life around.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not surprised that you're sensitive to all of those things with all of the other things going on in your body. Like, there's no way it could have supported eliminating any of those toxins out of your system.
No. So I was sensitive to almost everything. I was put onto a completely hypoallergenic diet, which was mainly white foods, like potatoes, lettuce, chicken, eggs.
Okay.
Not much else at the time. And I was highly sensitive to exhaust fumes as well, so it meant that I had to stay home. So I stayed home for 12 months and sorted out my diet.
Yep.
Got rid of all the toxins out of my system. Took about 10 weeks. And I just suddenly woke up one day and I felt happy and well.
Wow.
It was literally like that overnight.
Incredible, isn't
It
it?
was a bit of a journey through those 10 weeks, but when it finally happened, it was an absolutely incredible feeling. And people kept saying to me, "Why are you smiling? What's wrong?"
You can't be well. Wow, because you hear about those things happening, don't you? But until it actually happens to yourself, you just, especially with all of the issues that you had, it's probably very hard to believe. So is it something you've had to maintain now for all these years, or it kind of just left you then and you've maintained your healthy lifestyle and it hasn't happened again?
To a certain extent, but intolerances can change. So I'm no longer intolerant to the same things as I was then, but new intolerances come up and allergies, and your body changes all the time. So it's still a journey, and I still have to figure out why I'm reacting the way I am and what I'm reacting to.
Yeah. It kind of is, it puts you one step ahead of a lot of people, though, because all of us are reacting to different things. It's just that we don't notice it because we've already got aches and pains from all sorts of other stuff. So,
exactly. Yeah.
So that's good.
And after I'd fixed myself physically, the next part of my journey was healing my mental health from my upbringing, because I had a difficult upbringing. I was abused in many ways by many different people.
Yeah.
So I worked on that.
Yeah.
And once I started healing from that as well, I then discovered that I'm actually an empath. So a lot of the stuff I was carrying around wasn't mine anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And
still working on.
And that all gets in your cells and would have actually created a lot of the dis-ease that you had as well.
That's right. So by that time I was 40. And the creativity kicked in because I took a course in journaling. So I did a diploma in journal therapy.
Wow, I didn't know that existed.
And it was really, really helpful, because I'd always thought, if you keep a journal, it's just like writing a diary, but there's so many different ways you can do it.
Wow.
And that started me doing little sketches in my journal, little designs and pictures, and then it evolved into scrapbooking.
Wow.
So I ended up teaching scrapbooking and then wrote a book, which was kind of based on my journey, but it's a series of worksheets for people to follow, to answer questions about their life and turn into a journal or a scrapbook or a book on their life.
Wow, I saw that in your story. It's called Be You, is that right?
The Me book.
The Me book. The Me book.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So then I took that into schools as well and worked with underprivileged girls mainly, using the Me book. And so that then evolved a little bit further into art journaling. And then one day I started having these amazing dreams, and I've been a person that didn't remember my dreams at all. I think as a child I used to have prophetic dreams which scared me, and I asked for my dreams to stop, and they did.
Yeah.
So then I started having these dreams where I was instructed to create mandalas, and these mandalas I ended up creating because I was a photographer for a while as well, and I used to love doing macro photography, so really, really close up photography.
Beautiful.
So I created the first set of mandalas from my photography, just using my computer, cutting and pasting. I did it all.
Wow.
I did it all manually. I didn't use a computer program. I just cut and pasted, and I created a set of 12 chakra mandalas, which I started using with other healers and with their clients, basically as a visual reference for clients to see the colors of the chakra,
Okay.
feel the energies of each different chakra, and also for healers to place on the body.
Oh yes. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
And
so I did.
and that wouldn't have been like a common thing then either.
No.
No, when you started that, because it is quite widespread now that healers do that, but
It is, yeah.
it wouldn't have been when you started that.
No, that's right. And then I finished the 12 chakras, and I kind of thought that was it. And then the dream started again, and I had to make a set of 12 archangel mandalas, and then I did 12 masters, and then 12 mandalas from the 72 names of God, which I had never heard of.
Wow. There's a lot of trust in your dreams.
I know, it was the first time I'd really listened to my intuition and trusted in something like a dream. Dreams had always scared me before. Yeah. And for some reason, it must have been just that it was time.
It's kind of like more of a channel, really, wasn't it, that you really resonated with? And so you ended up with this beautiful deck of cards, which is still available now if people want to buy it. What's it called?
It's just called the Mandala Oracle.
The Mandala Oracle. Yep, you can find it easily, and it's in many stores. It's beautiful. So definitely do that. And then your artwork started to spread out then, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, from that, I got work through Blue Angel Publishing and illustrating cards for I mainly work with Alana Fairchild.
Yes.
So I've done quite a lot of things for her. But it was during the first couple of sets of illustrations that I did, I kind of suddenly started feeling like I wanted to learn to paint.
Oh, so you weren't even painting at this stage?
I had never painted.
Wow.
As a teenager, I used to draw with graphite.
Yep.
And I'd won awards for that sort of thing.
Okay.
I'd never painted, and I'd always thought that I couldn't paint.
Wow. Because your mandala cards kind of look painted, but they're not.
My mandala cards are a combination of my photography and painting and digital painting.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
Everything on those. Oh. Yeah, so I did a course of intuitive painting with a local artist, and I tell you, the first few lessons I spent in tears.
What am I doing? I can't paint.
I know, but even though I was convinced I was never going to paint, I got addicted to it. But the hardest thing was letting go of my perfectionism.
Yeah. I think that's the hardest thing for any artist in any medium, isn't it? Because, especially if you're doing work intuitively, because there's no perfection in that. It's
That's
just
right.
whatever flows. Yeah.
And by the end of the 12 months, I'd started to develop my own style, which allows me to bring back in some of my perfectionism. Some of the realism, anyway, in the sort of painting behind me. Yeah, so
beautiful.
I can use a model and sort of, so it's not so much perfectionism now.
No.
It's this is oh, I'm the wrong way around. It's not a mirror image. This one's based on my daughter when she was 18. So
oh, how beautiful.
a photo. So I work from photos, and sometimes I'll combine 2 or 3 photos to get a look that I want. But most of the time when I start painting, I'm not really sure where it's going to go anyway.
Okay, that's interesting.
This particular one was painted for a reason. So
yeah.
But she's quite often my muse.
I think with intuitive art, you kind of have a bit of an energetic feel, or some, well, this is the case for me anyway. I just have some vision in my head, and then I just start, but it never ends up like that. It's just a real flow. It's like you're channeling it through, and you go, oh, bit here, bit there, and it's just interesting what it kind of turns out. But you use your art for healing too, don't you? For healing other people.
Yeah, well, my art comes through in different ways. And there's different reasons for using art. Like the art that I sell, I kind of call clean art, because it's channeled. It doesn't carry any of my emotions or my own energy.
Yep.
Whereas the art that I teach, the intuitive art that I teach, it helps people bring through emotions and energies of their own. So it's a completely different way of painting. And if I'm working in my journal, of course, then it'll be my emotions, my energies coming through. But that's not, I don't sell any of that work.
No.
So the art that I teach is specifically to help people to heal, or even just to help them find their joy.
Yeah, because there's many people who got told as teenagers, or
I've lost your sound. Can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Oops, I don't know how.
No sound.
Oh, I don't know how we can fix that. Do you want to pop out and pop back in again and see if that helps?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I've got everything's right here, but I can't hear you at all.
Oh. I don't know why.
Well, we can both be heard, but I can't hear your questions.
I don't know what to do there. Let me go in here.
Maybe you can type questions.
Yeah.
And I have to wear my glasses.
Just check the chat.
I can't even.
Yeah. Yeah. Log in again and let's see what happens.
Okay.
Hang tight, everybody. Don't go away. Oh, technology. Interesting. And I think Mercury retrograde has finished as well. So I thought we'd have a nice clear run tonight. Anyway, Jane will be back in a minute. Oh, there she is. I can say hello to you guys now. Hey, Michael. Hi, Angela. Let's see what happens. Can you? Oh, yay. I'll pop you back up on screen. Oh, look at that. We've swapped sides now.
I don't know what happened. I didn't touch anything.
Crazy little spirit gremlins. Anyway, that's all good. At least we can hear each other now.
Yeah, I've completely forgotten what we were talking about.
Oh, we were talking about the beautiful healing in your artworks, and also just the fact that to bring somebody back to art is really healing in itself, because there's a lot of people like yourself and like me who got told I couldn't draw that just stop. They just stop through their school years, and they just don't feel that they are good enough to do it.
Yeah, I had my lovely mum come to one of my workshops at the weekend, and she's always said she couldn't do art.
Yeah.
And she did an amazing job. She's turning 80 this year, so
wow,
never too late to start.
No, I saw her artwork and the artwork of the other ladies. If some of that was their first artwork, they were amazing.
I think
really
I think
incredible.
everyone in that class, it was their first time.
Yeah. Wow, incredible. That just shows what a brilliant teacher you are.
Oh, thanks.
To show people, to produce something like that on your first art class, they're going to keep going.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. I always create workshops that are really, really simple but effective.
Yeah.
That you feel like you've created something amazing.
Yeah.
And that was just a couple of hours, that one. So, yeah.
Brilliant. They'll all be taking pride of place on the wall. Your mum will be back for more. One day she'll realise you're making a living from it.
Oh, she understands. It's my dad that doesn't.
Oh, that is so funny. So tell us about you're a yoga teacher, but you do belly dancing as well. Tell us about that, and do you teach that as well, or?
I closed my school actually at the end of last year, after 16 years of teaching.
Wow.
I started belly dancing because I've always been a bit of a tomboy.
Yep.
And I really wanted to get in touch with my feminine side.
Yeah.
I've always kind of felt uncomfortable because I have a very feminine shape, but I was always a tomboy, and I never sort of felt very I suppose I wouldn't say I didn't feel feminine. I just didn't connect with my feminine side very well. I think it was probably as a result of abuse growing up and bullying and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you tend to just block that whole feminine, intuitive kind of side, and you go into defend mode, really, don't you? So
yeah. So growing up, I did ballet.
Okay.
So I think when I was in high school, I was doing about 10 hours of ballet a week.
Yeah.
But ballet is actually a very masculine dance form. And it was originally created by men for men, and women weren't allowed to dance. So it is a very masculine form of dance, and belly dance is really the only original feminine dance form there is.
Wow.
And every tribal culture has their version of it.
Yeah.
And it was just something that I was really, really drawn to. And after 2 years of going to classes, I was asked to teach at that particular school, and then eventually set up my own school.
Wow. And were you that all happened before you started painting?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you think that and the yoga has kind of really encouraged that feminine, intuitive side to come out, and that creative side to really be enhanced?
Yeah, quite possibly.
Next step on the journey, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think yoga too is a very masculine art form.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? When
It
I've
is.
never thought of about it like that, but when you
It is.
kind of look at it, yeah.
And I think for anybody who's sensitive to energy and does yoga and any form of dance, you can tell what's a masculine energy and what's a feminine energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was, for me, it was all about balance.
Yeah.
And once I balanced my energies, I think I started to be, well, I started to allow myself to be me. And I'm obviously an artist deep down.
Yeah. Yeah. Intuitive healer / artist.
Yeah. But the other thing that belly dance did for me was, apart from allowing me to be me, it developed my self-confidence a lot.
Yeah.
Because when I started, I always said, there's no way I'm ever going to perform. I'll teach, but I'm not going to perform. And I think a month later, I did my first solo.
Oh my goodness. It's actually, I've never done it, but I have known people who do it. I should go and try it actually. But
It's amazing.
for the women I've known that have done it, it's very liberating because we have such closed and negative self-talk about our bodies and all of that kind of thing, and to go and do that and be wiggling your hips and your belly and kind of showing it all takes a bit of confidence.
Well, when I'm dancing, it's still the only time I ever wear a dress or a skirt.
Oh, dear.
But I still, one of my students and I still dance. We still perform, but
Okay.
yeah. So I couldn't stop dancing.
No, it sounds like it's become part of your life. So you've created just a magical, beautiful life there, and you live on the cane fields.
Yes.
Sugar cane fields, and you've got a lovely, peaceful. All the pictures I see of your property just look so peaceful, and it's probably a beautiful place for inspiration for you for a lot of your artwork.
Yeah, it is. And I actually have my little painting studio here is at home in our house, but the cottage where I teach is at the other end of the farm.
Wow. Okay.
So it's a sugarcane farm now, but it used to be a tobacco farm.
Okay.
And we were some of the last tobacco growers in the area.
Okay.
So we've still got the tobacco infrastructure on the farm, and it was the old sorting shed that became the cottage. We had that restored and changed into a cottage in the 90s and ran it as a farm stay for a few years.
Beautiful.
And then the studio where I have my dance studio is a baling shed.
Okay.
It was all converted in the last few years into my dance studio, and then downstairs I have an outdoor art workshop space as well.
Beautiful.
So yeah,
that's nice that you can just have it all there, and you kind of could feel like you're driving to work, don't you, if you're doing workshops. Bit of separation.
That was one of the reasons of having them at separate places, that I can actually go to work and come back home again.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, so
Yeah.
Jane, where do you think this will all lead you next? I know you'll keep on doing this beautiful artwork and healing people through that and your classes. Where do you think it'll take you next on this amazing adventure?
Well, I'm wanting to evolve the workshops into retreats as well. So
Oh, wonderful.
my aim is to get some bell tents set up at the cottage as well, so that women can come and stay overnight, because it's still a registered farm stay.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that would be easy to do then. How fabulous. So they could really just be immersed in not just artwork, but just in some peace away from their regular life.
That's right. And then I can introduce a little bit of dance and yoga and art and good food.
Wow.
So that's my goal as far as the property is concerned and that part of it. But I'm still doing illustration work and just going with the flow and seeing where my art's taking me.
Yeah, yeah. And so with the commissioned work you get through the publishing company, and also through individuals who ask you to do artwork for their cards or whatever they're creating, is that do you kind of have, you still have your same kind of themes coming through and do it intuitively, or can you kind of stick to what they want? How does all that work when you're designing stuff for other people?
If I'm designing for other people, it's usually only people who want me to do it intuitively that come to me anyway.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I think I would really struggle if I had to stick to like rigidly to what somebody wants, and I would probably have to decline to do it.
Yeah.
So most of the people that I work with are happy for me to intuit and then go from there.
Yeah. And I guess you just work with the meanings of the cards and intuit the message from that. Yeah.
And sometimes it's the other way. Sometimes I'll be asked to create the images and then they will bring through the readings. From the images. So
it's interesting, isn't it? I was going to I was in the middle of it actually, designing a deck of cards a few years back, and I thought, well, you know what, I've got 20 messages here that I need artwork to match up with, and why don't I, if I find an artist, why don't I allow them to create 20 images and I'll create messages for them? I thought it was a great mix. So
that's the best way to do it, I think.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So if people want to attend your art workshops, you are working on going online soon, but you do hold them in person, don't you? So they have to just live locally or be an hour or a couple of hours away to get to you.
Yes. So I am in Bundaberg, but I have 5 art workshops online now.
Oh, fantastic!
They're all available online. So
how wonderful! What's the name of your website?
It's Jaaneman Art, Jaaneman
Art.
Jaaneman means the soul of me.
Ah, beautiful. Let me pop that up in the. I was just going to ask you actually, because every time I see it, I think, is that Jane Marin? It's like, no, it's Jaaneman.
Everybody says that.
You got a typo there. So it's Jaanan.
Yep. EMAN.
EMAN.com or .com.au?
Hang on, JaanemanArt.com.
.com. Beautiful. All right. I'll just pop that up here in the comments. And of course, people can connect with you on Facebook as well. I'll pop all those up when we're finished.
And Instagram as well. I haven't got the hang of Pinterest yet, but I'm getting there.
Pinterest would be a perfect platform for you with your beautiful cards.
I haven't figured out how to use it properly.
I got into it for a little while and I just it's not for me. But you would definitely get thousands and thousands of followers immediately if you went on there. So it's definitely think of it as a organized scrapbooking. Organized scrapbooking. That's what you could think of it as.
Yeah, well, I do actually have some boards on there for my own use. It's just the other way around, getting my stuff on there for other people to see. Where I can't figure out how to. Can't get my head around it yet.
It'll come. So people can go to your website. They can do an online course. If you're doing in-person courses, they're up there as well.
Yep.
when they're on? Yeah. Okay, awesome. And
if you sign up for the newsletter, you actually get discounts on both the in-person courses and the online courses.
awesome. I'm going to sign up.
And also limited edition prints are also discounted for members as well.
Oh, how wonderful. That's fantastic. Well, everybody listening, go and sign up. And you put up lots of interesting things on your Facebook too. So it's just really lovely to see all the beautiful art and the energy that comes out of it. And I read in your story you use crystals as well.
Yeah. I always have some ground crystals, which I sort of embed into the artwork as well. Ground crystals and sometimes a little bit of gold leaf as well.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the people listening, if they are feeling the calling, I mean, our intuition right now is just going mad. Like we're all just opening up these channels that we've blocked and in so many different ways. And I think there are more and more people now being drawn back to doing something creatively, whether it's writing or journaling or painting or drawing or taking photographs, or really being drawn to just do something that's creative. So for people who are that's opening up for them, is there any advice you could give them to get started and kind of gain that confidence?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to just let go, because the more you try, the harder it is.
Yeah.
The same with art and writing and anything creative. It's about letting go of preconceived ideas.
Yeah.
Letting go of other people's ideas and just doing what feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trust, and learning to trust that.
Trust. Yeah. Trust in yourself.
Yeah. Learn to trust that. Because I think, there's so many voices in our head when we start something new. There's so many voices in our head from the past saying, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? It's not good enough. And we have to, learn to just shut that off and just trust what comes out. It's and I think even if people start just, with no other outcome but to put something on paper, put their energy on paper.
Exactly. I think one of the reasons I wrote the Me book originally was because I realized that I had forgotten who I was. And I also thought, because I've been the family historian for years and years before that time, and I thought, well, if I don't start being creative and write my thoughts and my feelings down, nobody's going to know anything about the real me.
Oh, it's so important, isn't it? Because we lose that. My parents are gone now, and I've only got a couple of letters that explains their life. So it's really important to write things down.
It is. And my grandparents wrote facts. They both kept diaries and both wrote really amazing historical facts about their lives.
Wow.
But I really couldn't tell you who they were as people.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what I thought was important. And when I wrote the book and started teaching it in scrapbook classes, I realized that so many people don't know who they are themselves.
Yeah.
So how are they going to, how are other people going to know who they are?
Yeah, exactly. And what you were saying about journals, it's not just a diary. My journal has like everything in it. It's kind of, I just go on a monthly basis. It's got all my finances, it's got all my plans, my goals, any workshops I do. It's just like the whole gamut.
Yes,
Plus any brain dumping that I want to do. So it's
that's
a
right.
totally
And
different.
sometimes my journals just have dot points.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like to-do lists or
Yeah.
dot points of things that I did today. If I can't write something that I think is nice and creative, I'll just jot it down with dot points.
Just put
At
it
least it's
down.
there.
At least it's there. Well, I used to have a different book for all of this, right? And it just never happened because I could never find the damn book. So I just have one book for it all, and then I fill that up and I get the next one.
Well, I don't fill mine up. I tend to have about 6 journals that I'm working on, half full. So they're not in chronological order. They're just
You're making it hard for your future relatives who
yeah.
want to figure out your life. Make them work for it. Well, Jane, it's been absolutely beautiful speaking with you, and I hope to meet you in person one day. And thank you so much for talking to us about your beautiful life and your gorgeous artwork. And I hope that everybody goes and checks out your work. And if you do see Jane's cards, what are they called again? Mandala.
The Mandala Oracle.
Mandala Oracle. If you
Yeah,
see
and I'm
the
so sorry I haven't got them with me.
if you do see them, grab a pack, and your beautiful artwork is also on all of Alana Fairchild's cards, and
They're all on my website.
they're all on your website. Yes, it's incredible. I went through them actually. I'm like, wow, oh wow, oh. Just amazing. You're so talented, and it's just beautiful energy and healing that you're sharing through your gifts and making a big difference in the world. So thank you so much for coming and talking to us tonight.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been amazing. Thanks.
Oh, you are welcome. So thank you everybody for joining us. Make sure you go and check out Jane's work on her website. And thank you for joining us. And I will see you next week on Trish Rock TV. Bye for now.